Good evening. I'd like to welcome everyone out to our regular board meeting. And we'll call this meeting to order. We'll have a pledge of allegiance by Kelly and followed by a moment of silence. And we'll go from there.
I pledge allegiance to
the flag of the United States of America,
and to the
republic for which it stands,
one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty.
liberty and justice for all.
Thank you very much. I'll now entertain a motion to approve the agenda minus item 6.2, which we'd like to move to August.
I move to approve the agenda as presented with the deletion of item 6.1, you said? 6.2? 6.2. I'll second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Meeting minutes, 4.1.
I move to approve the June meeting minutes as presented.
Oh, I noticed that the June 3rd work session was not included. We had 3 meetings in June.
That was last month. It was approved.
Okay, so we're working on July's meeting?
This is from the council meeting, the joint session,
Right,
and,
so
and the regular board meeting.
work sessions are not included.
It was approved on June 12th. We did at our
We had a work session on June 3rd, and then the
I think we approved
regular
those
board
minutes.
meeting, okay, at the work session, and then another on June 19th. So we had 3 meetings in June.
Right. So we approved so that one meeting, the meeting in June
At our regular board.
at a regular board meeting. So we did 2 approvals
Okay.
on that regular one, and then now it's both of these.
Okay. Oh, I just didn't see it listed here, so I thought it mentioned.
You okay?
Thank you.
So I have a motion and a second. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion passes. 5.1, ratification of expenses and payroll vouchers, tax credits, and activity accounts.
I move to approve as presented.
I'll second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion passes.
I oppose on vouchers because we have a couple of books that I think we need to be reviewed before we pass. Came across a book called The Amazing Bone, and that book was banned in Florida. I think we should take a closer look at what we're accepting before we move forward. There's another one I have in question called Up Yours, where it's listed, there isn't an author listed.
Can you share with me what voucher number you're looking at?
We're looking at voucher number 2547 for The Amazing Bone. And there is another one called Up Yours. And again, there is no author listed.
What voucher number was that? Do you know?
Voucher number 2545.
Okay.
So was it for a number of books? that you're questioning, we're not looking at it, so I don't, did they order like multitude of books?
There were a few, and I went through the books just to kind of
Review them?
review them and oversee their ratings and such. And a lot of them are good and good standing, and seem to be very positive. But these were two that caught my eye that thought I would bring up.
You know what page number you're referencing, so we can look at those in a little more detail?
Absolutely. So we have on page, well, let me give you up yours, is on page 26.
Page 26.
And then The Amazing Bone is listed on page 6.
Page 6.
And if I could ask, would it be possible to list the persons requesting these books, if their name can be added to the listings, just so that we may
It doesn't come
have
up.
an idea? No? Oh,
We can find out which account, which would be which school.
okay.
That I can tell you in a minute as soon as I get
That
there.
would be great, yes.
I don't have a keyboard, so it takes me a little longer to.
No worries.
I see up yours here on the voucher.
Yeah, and I took a
tell what school it's
screenshot.
from?
It didn't-
I can't see it.
What's the last 3 digits? The number on the last 3 digits? I think I know what it is.
There's 4 zeros in a row.
Well, the last 3 digits.
Oh, 116.
I think these are the replacement books for, oh no, that is Lyndon.
Here's the official title of the book I looked up and found.
Okay.
It's for teachers? Okay. It's a, so it's a professional development book for staff.
Which one is that?
Up yours.
Oh,
Thank
So,
you.
so it's not for kids.
so that's not for kids.
I
That's for
wouldn't
the,
say this is for kids.
yeah, so she's saying
It's for
that
teachers,
that
not
book
them with
is for
behaviors.
teachers, for them to learn about what they might.
Even what you and I are reading on this screenshot here doesn't seem appropriate to me, unless the author is included so that we can. Okay, okay. Can I show her my phone? And would you mind, so that I can show you what I'm looking at? I don't know if I should read it out loud. And then this is The Amazing Bone, where, well, we won't go into discussion.
Well, we can bring back to you at the next month's board meeting more information.
Wonderful, thank you.
So, a couple of things. Let the record reflect that on 5.1, it was 3 yeas and 1 nay.
Okay.
Motion passes. And if you would, just make a note that this would be something that we would, as a future board agenda item type thing. You okay with that?
I am, yes, as long as we talk about it again.
Okay. All right, 6.1, first reading of Board Policy 5-217, 5-217A and 217B. Dr. Farnsworth.
So these are policies for the high school for their graduation requirements, and I had the high school principal look at those in reflection of some of our changes. And you can see there's no action tonight, but there's some minor adjustments that you can see in red. And so if you have any questions, please let me know, but these reflect our current practices. They just need to be reflected in policy.
Anybody have any questions or comments on that first reading? Okay, 6.3, summer food report, Ms. Davis.
So this is the first year that we're doing the summer food program this way, where they only pick up once a week and they get bulk food for 5 days. and it's gone extremely well. So in the report, you can see that each week the number has grown. And the last week in June, it was up to 565 kids for just a week. So that's really good. We don't have the revenue numbers, but it was estimated by our new food service director, Stephanie Joyner, that it's going to be about $100,000, which is twice as much as we got last year, just for the month of June. So this new program is really good. The parents seem to like it. They get, a full loaf of bread, a gallon of milk, either white or chocolate. They get a big bulk of meat for the week. All the fruits and vegetables that they can carry, they can take as much as they want. We don't limit them to any of that. They get a box of juice boxes for lunch and a breakfast. And so it's a great deal that we have here for them. Blue Ridge has done it for a few years now, and they've only increased, and so we mimic what they've done, and it's just a great program. We've only had a couple complaints, and again, we're not going to make everybody happy, but everybody's really enjoyed it. I've went and looked at it. Dr. Farnsworth has gone and saw what they did, and we really are impressed with how the food service program is working. And if I may just divert a little bit from this, we've gotten some really good feedback from camp this year, from the athletic camp and the food from the schools that have come up for camp, and they really are impressed with how the food is this year. So we're hoping that we'll get around and we'll have better camps next year with the bigger schools that didn't come back up this year. So we're really impressed with what John Joyner's done and with what Stephanie's already done. She's come in when she doesn't really start till July 1. She's come in over the summer in June and really helped out. So we're really looking forward to this next year with Stephanie Joyner being the new director of food service.
Great.
That's awesome.
Thank you.
When does the summer food program end?
I believe the 24th.
Right up to school?
Yeah,
Okay,
just before school starts.
good.
It begins when?
4 weeks ago.
Yeah,
Beginning of June?
So June. Okay.
yeah, the week after school got out.
Oh, very good.
I love this program. I think it's so beneficial to our community, and I'm grateful for it.
And the parent doesn't have to bring their kids.
I was wondering, I kind of wondered, well, is this a good thing on a weekly basis or not? And then I started thinking, oh, it saves the parent having to take their child in every day, the time, the gas. So anyway, I'm
It
glad.
doesn't even have to be
And leaving work, yeah, so
anybody.
I know, it's wonderful, so.
I picked up our staff member, Katie Reyes, I picked up her child's the first week because I was going over there. I said, why don't I just pick up your child's? And she said, okay. All I had to do was give him their name, his age, and that's it.
Good. Now, please thank those who are
Yeah.
doing this for us. Just please give them a big thank you from us.
You bet.
Thank you.
Item 6.4, Student Achievement Report.
Good evening.
Evening.
I'm going to apologize up front if my voice gives out. I'm recovering from an illness. Dr. Farnsworth has my notes if he needs to take over for me. So I am here tonight to bring you our results from the AASA, AZ-SCI, ACT Aspire, and the ACT for 2025. And while our scores show some room for growth, there's also some clear bright spots. Most importantly, we're taking some big steps next year to ensure that every student receives what they need to reach their full potential. So on this slide, you can see our district's proficiency rates on the AASA assessment in both English Language Arts and Math for grades 3 through 8. They are the only ones who take this assessment. There's a few key patterns that stand out. In ELA, Sixth grade leads the way with the highest proficiency rate at 43%. We also see a strong performance in seventh grade at 42% and fourth grade at 40%, suggesting that students are developing a solid literacy skills in the middle grades. However, there's a noticeable dip in fifth grade ELA, where the proficiency has dropped to 32%. This highlights an opportunity for more targeted support in that transitional year between the elementary and junior high. In math, we see consistent performance in fourth and sixth grades, both at 33%, with seventh grade close behind at 31%. Third grade comes in slightly lower at 30%, and the biggest areas for growth appear again in fifth grade, which dropped to 25%. In eighth grade, proficiency is at 24%. So these results give us a clear picture of where we need to focus our instructional efforts and our support. This slide
Do you have an idea why they dip in those two spots? Leaving, going into middle, leaving middle, going into
Transition
high?
grades are tough.
Okay,
They're
just in general?
in general, yeah, but we had some young teachers in fifth grade this year. That was rough. In eighth grade, I know Becky Clark is working very closely with her eighth grade to improve achievement there. So when we look,
Say something too for fifth grade too. This is that group in last year's board where we were rolling 36 kids in a class and they were rotating classes with the flips. And so fifth grade was playing catch up. And
Okay.
that's another part of the dip. And they're aware. They did a lot this year to try to catch up.
Okay.
so this next slide shows how our district compared to the state proficiency. Sixth grade is clearly a highlight. Our students reached 43% proficiency, slightly ahead of the state, which was at 41%. This reflects strong instruction and support in the middle grades. In third grade, we're close to the state as well, 34% in the district compared to 36% statewide. That gap is small and suggests that our literacy efforts are on the right track. The wider gaps are appearing in fourth and fifth grades. Our district scored 40% in the fourth grade versus 46% for the state, and 32% in fifth grade compared to 38% statewide. These areas may benefit from additional focus on comprehension and writing as students move into the upper elementary years. Writing is always a struggle, especially when you're asking a student to sit down and write an essay on the computer. It's not natural for them to do that yet. So that's an area where we need to work. In eighth grade, our district scored 36% proficiency, 4 points below the state's 40%, signaling a possible taper in literacy growth as students prepare to transition to high school. It's hard to get kids to read sometimes. Overall, this comparison gives us a clear view of where we're aligned with the state and where we can target our support, particularly in grades 4, 5, and 8, while continuing to build on the strengths in grades 3, 6, and 7. Next, we have a slide comparing our district's math proficiency rates to the state's proficiency rates. Strongest performance is in sixth grade, 33% proficiency, a few points above the state, which was at 29. That's a bright spot and reflects strong instruction at the junior high level. We also see a modest advantage in the seventh grade, where we scored 31% compared to the state's 27%. Consistency in the middle grades is encouraging. When we look at elementary, we do see wider gaps. In third grade, our students scored 30%, while the state is averaging 41%. In fourth grade, we hit 33, 7 points behind the state's average. And in fifth grade, we're at 25% proficiency compared to 37% for the state. In eighth grade, our students scored 23%, slightly trailing the state at 27. This continues to be an area that requires attention, especially as students transition to high school. So overall, while we're encouraged by their progress in sixth and seventh grade, we know we have work to do in our elementary grades and in eighth grade to close the proficiency gap and to build a stronger math foundation throughout the system. Next, we have our AZ-Sci results. The Arizona Science Assessment is only administered to 5th, 8th, and 11th graders. So that test assesses everything from the previous grade that was tested up. So for instance, 8th graders are tested on 6th, 7th, and 8th grade science. So starting with 5th grade, our students scored 32% proficient, just 2 points below the state's average of 34. That's a narrow gap and shows that our elementary science instruction is well aligned. And with a bit of targeted support, we're in a strong position to close that gap between us and the state. In 8th grades, our students scored 36%, 5 points ahead of the state. This is a strong result that likely reflects the work that they've been doing to improve teaching and learning at the middle school level. At the high school level, 26% of 11th graders scored proficient, 7 points above the state average of 19%. And while we still have some work to do, this is a positive sign that our upper level science courses are making an impact on students. Overall, the science results show strong alignment in the elementary, real strengths at the secondary, and good momentum we can continue to build on through strong curriculum, engaging instruction, and some professional development. Next, we have the ACT Aspire. This is only administered to our 9th graders at the end of the school year. It is used primarily for 2 things. The first thing is the ACT Aspire has a future ACT performance outlook. So we can basically gauge how a 9th grader is going to perform on the ACT the 11th grade using the ACT Aspire. And then it also contributes to the growth indicator that adds to the school label. So our composite scores have remained very steady. Consistently, they've been just about around 420 each year. And since the Aspire uses a different scoring system than the ACT, it ranges from 400 to 470. The stability tells us that our incoming high school students are entering with a consistent academic foundation. So if we weren't having consistency across the board, then we would probably see some rolling dips. In terms of predicted ACT performance, the average projected scores on the Aspire results have ranged from 17.0 to 17.7 over the past 4 years. And those predictions are closely aligned with what the actual ACT results were for 2 years worth of those results. So that gives us some confidence in the reliability of the ACT Aspire as an early performance indicator. So what this shows us is that our students are starting high school on a fairly even footing. That consistency gives us some strong starting points to identify students who might need some early intervention and support, and to build some targeted strategies that can boost their performance by the time they take the ACT in 11th grade. This slide shows us our district's ACT results. These reflect the performance of students tested at the end of their junior year. The ACT composite score is an average of 4 subject areas: English, math, reading, and science. A perfect score is 36. For context, the statewide average in 2024 was 17.7. Our district's composite score for 2025 was 18.5. Our highest in the past 3 years, and just slightly below the 2022 peak of 19.06. This upward movement is encouraging, especially considering nationally ACT scores have been declining. Among the subject areas, reading stands out as their clear strength, reaching an average score of 19.6 in 2025. Math, science, and English have basically remained steady over the past 4 years. The results suggest that students are maintaining their strong academic foundation through high school. And while we're proud of that consistency and improvement we're seeing, we also recognize this as really a starting point. We need to keep raising expectations and expanding opportunities for them to push even more students toward college and career readiness. So take a step back and look at the full picture. There's several bright spots. We need to celebrate these. Places where the data shows meaningful progress and strong instruction across the district. English language arts, 6th grade really stood out. Their results confirm that they have a solid literacy instruction, strong student engagement. That team is clearly aligned and effective in what they're doing. In math, we're starting to see encouraging signs at the junior high level as well. Both 6th and 7th grade math scores improved and outpaced the state this year, which tells us the instruction happening there is effective. Science is continuing to be a strength, especially at the secondary level. Our 8th and 11th graders performed well above the state. We're also seeing consistency in our college readiness measures. 9th graders have shown steady performance on the ACT Aspire year after year, and those early indicators are helping us to catch students who may need extra support. Excuse me. When we look at the actual ACT results for juniors, we see that our highest composite score in 3 years happened last year with reading a particular strength. Overall, the results show that even in time when national scores are trending downward, our students are holding steady and moving in the right direction. All of this gives us a solid foundation to build on, but we still have a lot of work to do. These bright spots show that the investments that administrators and teachers have made in instruction, professional development, and alignment are making a real difference for some kids. So, looking forward to the 26th school year, our focus as an administrative team is grounded in a shared belief that all means all. It's more than just a motto. It's a commitment to making sure every student, regardless of their background or circumstance, has access to high expectations, that meaningful support that they need. To honor our commitment, we're putting several systems in place that are transparent, collaborative, and focused on results. One of our biggest priorities this year is using data not just to evaluate, but to inform and improve instruction. We'll be digging into formative assessments, benchmarks, and IXL growth data to help our teachers make real-time decisions about what students need next. Instead of taking a test and just moving on, we need to be using the data that we're getting and putting it into action. Just as important as collecting that data is making it visible. We want to ensure that everyone, teachers, leaders, students, and families, have a clear understanding of where we are and where we are going. That's why we are working to launch public-facing dashboards, performing monthly principal check-ins, and reinforcing our use of consistent data reviews in every school. It's not about adding pressure, it's about adding clarity. When we look at the data together, openly and honestly, it becomes a tool for reflection and growth. It's not a gotcha. It's a where are we and how do we move forward. It gives our teachers the information they need to adjust, intervene, or to accelerate learning. It gives our leaders the insight to provide targeted support. It helps our families to stay informed and engaged in their child's progress. And it helps me to know where do we need some professional development. At the heart of all of this is a belief in shared accountability through strong professional learning communities, regular progress monitoring, and a united focus on what students are learning. We're building a culture of continuous improvement where everyone plays a part in moving the work forward. Before I open it up for questions, I do want to acknowledge something. While we've highlighted some areas where we are outperforming the state, that's worth celebrating. It's also true that the state proficiency rates overall are not where any of us want to see them. They're pretty awful, pretty dismal. So even though we're ahead of the average, we have to keep in mind that that bar is still set way too low. So our work isn't just about being better than the state. It's about being excellent for our students and for our families. It means that we'll continue to push for growth, raise expectations, and focus on meaningful learning, not just test scores. We've made progress and we should be proud of that, but we're not done. I'd be happy to take any questions or your reflections.
We had a conversation way back. This was, I guess, when I was still campaigning. And in that conversation, you mentioned that it's always a moving target. Do you still feel that way? And what can we do to
I absolutely do. In fact,
focus?
the ASA assessment, when students took it this year, there were pilot questions on it that might be used in the future, might not. So we had students taking this really long test, and they answered questions that didn't apply to their results. The state is also working on their formula for how they give the results. So this coming school year, we'll see a very different way that they report to us the school's grade level. Like, you know, Shola High School is an A, junior high is a B. It will look very different this coming year. So even pulling the data as a principal and administrator and trying to predict what your grade is going to be is very difficult. So yes, always a moving target.
And on that note, you mentioned the Aspire.
Mhm.
Wait, let me go back to my notes here. The Aspire, is that one time a year, or is that at the end of, at the beginning of the year, so that you can?
Now, all of these assessments are taken in end of April, mid-May.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
it's always at the end,
Always at the end.
which is hard because then you can't really do anything actionable with that.
Yes.
Because then they're moving on to the next grade level. That's why we're going to be looking at common formative assessments. Those happen routinely every week, every 2 weeks. Benchmarks happen every quarter. IXL growth is almost daily. So that is something that we can look at on a daily, weekly, monthly basis and really hone in on what does an individual student need right now today.
Yes, and
Instead of trying to, come back 2 months after the kid has taken the test and they're tired, they're at the end of the year. So yeah, that's why we're looking at that data more closely.
the ACT scores, is that declining in the state of Arizona? That's
Nationally.
nationally. Okay, I just wanted to outline that. And my last question is, so what do you feel is the most effective method in the classroom that helps to bring scores up?
I think it happens before you're in the classroom. I think it happens in your professional learning community when you're sitting with your teacher groups and you're saying, man, I'm struggling with this. I have a kiddo who's having a hard time with X, Y, and Z. How are you doing it? Let me see what your data looks like. Because that's really what it's intended for. You sit in a group and no judgment. We always say it's not yours once you put it on the table. Once you put it on the table, it belongs to all of us and you take no judgment, right? So if I am sitting with my teacher cohort and I'm looking across the table, I'm like, oh my gosh, almost all the students in your class passed that common formative, and I had 20% who struggled. What did you do differently? I need that information because teaching is no longer a go in the classroom and shut the door and do it all by yourself. It is a collaborative effort.
I believe so too. Those are great. Thank you.
You're welcome. Any other questions, comments?
I love all means all. I
Yes,
think that's
we
a
do too.
wonderful motto for this year for us all to follow. And I agree, through collaboration, you guys can meet, whatever goals you're looking for.
Absolutely.
You all work together.
Because we have so many bright people,
Right.
but nobody is smart in everything,
Right.
right? So we have to use each other's brains and learn from each other.
Totally agree. Good luck. Thank you for all you do.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
6.5, first reading of the City of Sholo IGA. Anybody have any questions or?
I was just going to say, at the combined city council district meeting, they're just adding in some electronic equipment. Everything else stays the same, but they would like to donate to our electronics department at the high school. But in return, our kids and teacher would help video and sponsor some citywide events.
Yeah, I think it's great.
Okay. Item 6.6, principal reports. Anybody have any questions, comments?
Thank you.
6.7, superintendent report.
So summertime kind of slows down a bit. I've been able to go with our principals to the NAU Trust Leadership Academy. That was our legal/leadership academy up in Flagstaff. We got a lot of good training from the trust attorneys about case law, special ed, HR type issues. And so I think our principals really enjoyed that. We're doing quite a few projects around the district. I think one of the bigger ones is we're almost done, air conditioning in the junior high gym, which I think is long overdue, so we're excited for that. And I'm working on a district handbook, so you'll see a later agenda item where there's school handbooks, but I'm still working on a district type handbook that hopefully I'll bring to you next month. But we're focused on safety. We have a safety meeting this month, this coming Monday. And one of the tasks that all the safety members have been asked to do is to take some of the FEMA trainings online, which are free. And so we're trying to build our capacity as leaders about what to do in different types of emergencies. And so I'm really proud of our administrative team for taking on that task. Just a few items of note. New teacher orientation starts July 21st. And Charla, I think all board members would be welcome the first day when we introduce and meet our new teachers, if you would like to attend. I think that starts at 8 a.m.
They've all been invited.
Okay.
Thank you.
The staff return July 24th, and then if you could put on your calendars, July 25th at 8:30, we are going to be having our all-district welcome back assembly in the auditorium. And if you would like to speak or say some words, please let me know so I can put you on the agenda. I know last year, John, you had a couple things you wanted to say, and then I had a couple things. And then we also have a special speaker that will be speaking to the whole district. And then the first day of school is July 30th. So the school year is quickly approaching.
Thank you.
Mr. Farnsworth, can I take a little liberty here? You talked about the FEMA training and then safety committee and whatnot. Just had a discussion at work today about the loss of life in Texas and the safety issues that were not really paid a whole lot of attention. I would like to just express as a district our concern and condolences for those folks in Texas, and hope and pray that things don't get worse as more moisture's coming. Okay, moving on to 7.1, adoption of 25-26 budget. Ms. Davis.
To ask you to approve the adopted budget for 25-26 at this time. And again, we'll bring the revised budget back in December.
It's a good time for any questions or anything that you might still have.
I'll move to approve the 25-26 budget.
I'll second it.
I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion passes. Thank you. 7.2, classified transfers, resignations, terminations. Dr. Farnsworth.
We have one transfer, and that's at the district office. That individual was helping us archive all of our records, and she has finished that project, and so we found another job for her in the district office. And then we had 2 resignations at the end of the year.
I move to approve all classified employee actions as presented.
Second.
Motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion passes. 7.3, classified personnel employment.
Our principals have been busy, and they're filling a variety of different jobs across the district. And we would ask that you would approve these recommendations. Also, at the very bottom, if you noticed, we are asking that you create a new position for a one-on-one. Again, we've talked about special education, and then when certain things are allocated in special education, it's like law. We have to provide these services. So we have a student that has that written into their IEP that we need to provide additional support. So we ask that you would approve that new position.
I'd like to welcome. It was very refreshing to see all the alumni that's just so great to see. And welcome the newcomers to our group, to our district. And yeah, certainly that one-to-one is very important, I agree. So I move to approve the classified employment action.
I'll second it.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion passes. 7.4, certified transfers, resignations, and terminations. Dr. Farnsworth.
So we just have one resignation, and I know there've been some questions about the counselor, and so they did resign, and it's up to the board if you want to institute liquidated damages or a portion of liquidated damages or none at all, which is the board's right.
I'd like to motion that we approve the resignation and waive liquidated damages as presented.
I'll second.
I have a motion and a second. Would you read under executive content and fix that? Okay. Just catch that. Okay. Just so that it reflects
See it?
in the record correctly. Okay, so we have a motion and a second. Any other discussion or comment?
I'm sorry, are we approving the liquidated damages or not?
We're waiving him.
A motion,
Is to waive.
the motion was to waive the second.
Approve the resignation, but waive the liquidated damages.
Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Nay. Motion passes. 7.5, certified personnel employment, Dr. Farnsworth.
So we have two new hires. I think these are the last ones for the high school. So we did find one counselor, and then we also found a unicorn in a CTE sports medicine teacher. So that was a lucky.
Really?
Yeah,
Shelby K.
yeah.
Yeah.
She's one of ours, yeah.
Well, that's cool. How did that happen? Not that I'm complaining.
Luck.
Really?
Yeah, we're very fortunate.
I was excited to see
I
that.
think they randomly heard about it, and they talked to the principal and talked to Jerry Butler, and they
Kidding.
like, well, yeah, they were interested, so they applied, and I think she's on the recommendation to coach as well.
Yeah.
So we're super happy to have her on board.
Yes, she's awesome.
So I move to approve these individuals as presented.
I'll second.
Motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. 7.6, fall coaches and athletic stipends 25-26.
So in front of you, you have the fall coaching placements and stipends. Obviously, if things change between now and the start of the year, we'll bring any changes to you, but this is what we have at this point.
I'll move to approve the athletic stipends for the 25-26 school year for our fall coaches.
Second?
Motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. 7.7, event workers, Dr. Farnsworth.
One of the issues that we've had is after the fact approvals of event workers because it's so difficult. And so last year we took the approach that we're bringing you every employee in the district. So if they do work, they've already been approved. And so we're repeating that same theory. So we ask that you approve all of the district employees as potential event workers. So when in fact they do work an event, then we don't have to come to you after the fact and have an audit finding.
I love being proactive rather than reactive. So I move to approve the
again?
Siri.
worker list as presented.
I'll second.
Motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. 7.8, review school and staff handbooks.
Yeah, so you have a plethora of handbooks. I just want to thank the principals, especially the elementary principals. They really worked hard together to be more united in the verbiage and the language and some of the policies and procedures. So I want to thank them. And we actually took an admin meeting where we all got together and we went through different topics to make sure we had the same verbiage, very similar words or processes and procedures. So I'm very proud of the admin and the work that they did to kind of bring this to you for your approval.
I love seeing consistency across the board, so thank you very much to all who worked on these, and I motion to approve as presented.
I'll second.
Motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. 7.9, ASBA Law Conference Delegate.
So we are tasked by ASBA to have a delegate voted on by the board who would represent the Show Low School Board for the ASBA Law Conference coming up. And you see the date, September 3rd through the 6th, and then the delegate is, they get to stay on the 6th and vote on priorities and different things. I know Stacey Anderson has done that in the past. If you have questions,
That was Kelly Boyer.
I'm sure you two can. So that's one thing. We need to come up with a delegate to represent the school board at this law conference. I also put in here potential professional development for the board. So ASBA will come out and they will work with us, and you can see the hours that they would require if the board wanted to review the self-evaluation process, if we wanted to review the board rules of order, if we wanted to review the operations handbook or communication protocols or the 4 C's of civil discourse. I just thought it was nice that ASBA put this out there. I wanted to let you know that these are PD opportunities, that ASBA will come out to us and they will work with all of us on these types of topics if that's what the board would like to do. And so then the last thing is that Courtney needs to know if you would like to attend the conference. She needs to know tonight, if possible, so we can make reservations for your registration and hotel. So I know there's like 3 different things in there, but board president, however you want to proceed with, we do need a delegate.
So since Paul's not here, I think we ought to throw him under the bus.
I agree.
Just not, I'm just. If there's somebody here that feels like that's something they would like to do, Paul will be so mad if we do that to him.
Let's do it.
Oh.
Paul did not go last year.
No.
Oh, he didn't even go to the thing at all. I don't think he could get away from work. Angela, is this something that you would be interested in?
Well,
I
my
know
questions.
I know you don't have a clue almost
Me
what
and my
it is.
questions, right? So what is the process normally for recruiting a representative for this law conference? But
We're
it would
doing it
be
right
one of
now.
us.
Yeah,
Right, okay.
we're gonna talk about
And
it.
what
and
are the qualifiers?
There aren't any qualifiers.
You're a board member.
Being a board member,
Yeah.
my, oh
Now you're
my.
registered.
And my third question was, will it be someone in-house or a public official? But I guess it's one of us.
It's one of
One of
us.
5 of us.
It's one of us, and you'll be there on the 3rd, where the rest of us would show up on the 4th.
No, you can.
No.
It's on Saturday.
It's on Saturday the
Yeah, right, it's the
It
Saturday
was supposed to
that,
be efficient, but it can drag on all day Saturday. It's like getting a root canal without any Novocaine.
So you're in a room with a bunch of other, yeah, you're in a room with a bunch of other board members, and some of them really like their own voices, and so they oppose everything that's, brought up to voting. And so, and then at the end, you vote on the issue if it's something,
You're voting on the political agenda.
yeah, on the
That they
political.
should send out to us pretty quick. You know how we just sent in what we wanted? Then we'll vote on those things, what they want to take to the legislature.
Oh,
Mhm.
what we want to do.
Everything goes through.
What a great opportunity, but
It
I have
is.
so much on my plate right now. I think someone experienced should do this. I'm a novice.
Are you going to the law
I
conference?
just- Am I going to go? Am I going to attend? Yes, if invited,
You
I'll
should- you-
attend. Every
well, you're invited.
I had
You
the
should have attended this one. This is the one that we should all attend. There are,
Okay.
You went last year,
you can,
if I remember.
Sorry.
Actually, you didn't because you weren't elected. You went into December. Okay,
she would have started.
yeah. Well, maybe we should start there. Who would like to go so we can get reservations and your entry fee paid?
I will
I would
attend.
like to go.
Yes.
I will not be going.
I probably won't be going.
Okay.
You want us all to go?
It would be nice to all go out as a board for a nice, lovely dinner but I know you're all busy, you have different schedules, you have different things going on. It's whatever you can do.
It's not real fun to go down there when it's 117.
in an air-conditioned building?
Oh,
No,
yeah.
it's gonna be held in the shed out back. No,
Still
I'm
have
just
to go
joking.
outside.
I will be going, Courtney.
It'll be a conference. It'll be
All
a
right,
conference.
I'll go and I'll be the delegate unless Angela wants to be the delegate or John.
If Stacy will go, then I will go, but can you please try to find me a handicapped room?
Yes,
I
ma'am.
am glad we are all going.
Thank you.
That's very refreshing, but I feel like I need a mentor just to kind of guide me through this. This is a new territory for me, so,
For the law conference?
yeah.
Oh, no, it's great.
Yeah.
Conference.
Just like December, only it's the law conference.
You're accepting the nomination as a delegate?
Yes, so I will
there was a
move that
nomination.
Stacy be our delegate for Show School District.
Yes, I nominate Stacy.
I'm nominating you next year.
All in favor?
Aye.
And Stacy, is it appropriate or okay if she tags along with you and,
Yeah, they won't let her in. She'll have to.
oh, they won't
You
let her?
can,
Oh.
you can sit outside. You can sit behind and watch. but
Like
you
what we
can't-
experienced when we went in
For the
December last
businessman,
year.
for the business meeting.
Yeah, it would be like that.
Yeah. And there's a pullout usually on Fridays that tell what to expect.
Okay.
So you could tag along with her and learn exactly what that delegate does. and-
Okay. Well, this is exciting. A new added venture.
Cool, and then,
Why don't you make Angela the alternate?
Okay.
Oh boy.
And then if something changes, there you go.
Okay, but I'm holding you to it.
you just did it.
I'm holding you to
She
it.
just did you wrong.
Right.
She just did
I
you
know it.
wrong.
Yes.
So what will you do can you contact Paul or reach out to Paul if you need to know, or did he already say he wasn't going?
I will reach out to Paul.
We'll
Otherwise, I can reach out if you want or whatever, doesn't matter. Okay. Okay, 7.10, off-contract compensation for English language learner, Dr. Farnsworth.
So this individual, they're working with families and different English language learners, and it's off contract time for them. And so we're asking that you would approve this so they are compensated properly.
I move to approve as presented.
I'll second.
Motion and a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. 7.11, approval of $5 replacement fee, Dr. Farnsworth.
So I've been visiting with the junior high principal. I'm very excited that she wanted to be a pilot school this year and give every student an ID at the very beginning of the year. And they're going to institute some expectations and accountability of wearing the ID, having the ID on them. And what she's asking for is that if they happen to lose it, that the board would grant her permission to charge $5 for replacement ID, which I can tell you is pretty standard in all my years of doing this. We give the kids a free ID at the very beginning, and then if they do happen to lose it, then it's a nominal fee.
Do we give them a lanyard as well?
I don't know. I know I've done that previously, but I will ask. I kind of think I don't want to commit a suicide. Let me check on that for you.
Thank you.
A suicide. I like that. Did you just coin that term yourself?
No, I've learned that over the years.
Don't give him that much credit.
Oh, great question.
I move to approve all school property item. Oh, I'm sorry.
7.11.
Yeah, I'm here. No, okay. It's not. Let me, yeah, I'm ahead of myself. Oh, here it is. I am here.
Yeah, it's the
It
motion to
isn't,
approve the
I
five.
motion to approve the $5 replacement fee as presented. Let's see, that isn't how it reads.
Right. Just,
Right.
I'll second.
Oh, yeah, they did it wrong here on her.
I got a text from the principal just now because she's watching, and they will be getting a lanyard.
Great, perfect, thank you.
Be a good little fundraiser for them.
Huh?
Be a good little fundraiser.
Yeah.
No lost babies.
Thank you, Becky, for watching.
So,
Thank you, Becky.
I move to
the $5.
approve $5 replacement fee.
Second, Angela.
Yeah, you said. No, we
I
need to vote.
second.
No, you did.
You
motioned,
moved.
I
I did
second.
motion,
We're waiting
yes.
Okay,
for
got a
vote.
motion, a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? 7.12, school properties disposal, Ms. Davis.
So we only have one today. It's 2 items from the cafeteria at the high school. The ice machine broke, and so did the milk cooler. So the ice machine has been replaced, and I think we had an extra milk cooler. So we're gonna we're gonna auction them off. Somebody will use them for parts. So
I move to approve all school property items for disposal as presented.
I'll second.
Motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion passes. 7.13, updated business office procedure manual. Ms. Davis.
So this is the business office procedure manual, and when we make changes, we bring it to the board. And I usually just do it either once or twice a year. So we made some pretty significant changes. We just went through a food service audit with the ADE and with, well, both of them were ADE, but one was administrative and one was for procurement. And so we had to make some changes, and I referenced page 123 per the audit recommendations. And then we updated throughout the manual with some staff changes, titles, and some other things throughout the manual with job titles and with the staff. So those were minor changes that just needed to be updated. So, and there were, again, some changes with the forms based on the staff. Their recommendations throughout the years. We went through this new manual. This is the first year we've had it. So as we use the forms, there were some recommendations by the staff on how to change them. So we've made those changes in the manual. So I ask that you approve the changes that we've made throughout this last year.
I move to approve the updated business office procedure manual as presented.
I'll second. Oh,
Go ahead,
both
Kelly.
of us.
I couldn't believe how long it was. That was really long.
It just keeps growing.
I need
That's
like
good.
a matter of days to finish going through this.
I have a motion and a second. Any further comment? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion passes. 7.14, student fundraising activity, Mr. Farnsworth. Dr. Farnsworth.
At the junior high, there's a fundraiser, a club sponsor, Aaron Ford. They bought about $840 worth of sweatshirts and different types of stuff that they're going to donate back for the junior high to sell. And so we ask that you approve this fundraiser.
I move to approve the student fundraising activities as presented.
I'll second.
Motion and a second. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion passes. 7.15, gifts and donations, Dr. Farnsworth.
So the junior high, I think Becky wrote a grant, and you can see in her memo that she was awarded about $1,981 in free books. Those books titles have been posted on our website for review, and to date, we've not had any community member object to the book titles that we have on display. So we would ask that you would approve those books, which is a very generous donation. Also, you can see the different books on that page. And then I think there's a
memo.
The BSN.
BSN. Yeah, again, those are those are the exact hoodies that were approved previously.
I appreciate Becky Clark going through each of these books and reviewing them before bringing them to us. As she noted, she found 20 that didn't agree with the standards of our district, and so I just want to extend that thank you and appreciate that.
I move to approve as presented.
I'll second.
Motion and a second. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion passes. 7.16, out-of-state field trip. Travel. Out-of-state travel.
So we have the girls soccer team. There's 2 tournaments, both in New Mexico, August the 8th and August the 25th. And we would ask that you would approve those out-of-state trips.
I move to approve out-of-state travel for girls soccer as presented.
I'll second.
Motion and a second. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion passes. Item 8.1, we did not have anybody want to talk to us tonight. So I noticed that there isn't a item on here for future board agenda items.
My bad.
If we can, that's okay, if we can remember that. And then just some of the concerns that Angela brought up, we can just put in that category and go from there.
Mrs. Campbell, I would appreciate an email if you have specific concerns around those two books so I can be equipped to answer those.
Absolutely.
That would help me out.
Maybe include your screenshots.
Oh, okay. I'll do that.
Because the book that I looked up really quickly, The Amazing Bone, is from 1976. That's the one?
Right.
Okay. Yeah, if you just want to shoot me an email, then I can adequately prepare for that.
Okay. If there's no further discussion, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn to our next regular board meeting, August 14th, 2025.
I move to adjourn.
I second.
Motion is second, all in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion passes. Thank you all for being here. Appreciate everything you do.